This is Pop Culture Man Children. What the kids on the street, I hear, are calling PCMC.
Hashtag PCMC.
The kids walk up. This is what happens. A cool kid walks up to a less cool kid, and he opens up his jacket, and he goes, "Yo, you want some of that PCMC?" And what they've got in their little pocket is just an iPhone playing their thing.
Nice.
And then the younger kid is like, "Yeah, I'm down."
Well, the streets have been talking because from what I've heard, my friend's girlfriend listens to PCMC. He was like, "Yeah, her professor does a podcast, and I listened to it with her, and I heard your voice." Me being Emilio Sparks.
So,
a student of yours is a listener of this program.
I can't talk about that.
I want to know, what do you say to get these kids to listen? Do you tell them?
I only say once. I honestly say once a semester. Usually towards the end, I go, "I have a podcast. You can subscribe to it."
Oh, all right. I thought you would plug it after every lecture.
No, I don't. I mean, the sticker, the PCMC sticker is on my MacBook.
Yeah.
And sometimes a student will go, "What's that sticker?" And
like,
I'll tell them.
It's amazingness, and you should listen and rate, review, and subscribe all on Apple Podcasts or Spotify or Stitcher or Google Play. You should do that, young student. And we also have a Tumblr as well.
You know what? I almost want to take that back because I've done nothing with the Tumblr.
Put up some weird photos, that's all.
Okay.
And some trailers. That's it. It's not rocket science. It's a trailer. It's on a Tumblr.
But I feel like I want to put my energy more into the Instagram.
It's your world,
Who cares?
pal. It's your world.
Hey, we're everywhere.
I'm just here hanging out with you, man. You know, social cultures is your thing.
Yeah.
You are a social media guru.
Well, I wouldn't say that. I think you are. I think you're a podcasting guru.
Maybe. I mean, I started in the medium real early on.
Yeah. I think you're a love guru, much like Mike Myers.
I actually watched that a couple of weeks ago.
How was that?
In between, well, it was only for like 3 minutes because it was like right after wrestling. I was trying to figure out what I could watch next as I was looking on the viewing guide. And I was like, this is just pure shit. He had 2 movies, Wayne's World and
he has 2
Austin
voices
Powers.
as
That's
well.
it, 2 characters.
He has the Scottish voice, which could be his father from Sorry Mary and Axe Murder or Fat Bastard or Shrek.
Yeah.
And the voice he does for Love Guru though is somewhat offensive. It's very like he's doing a Deepak Chopra impression, but I think Deepak is in that movie in a cameo.
I don't think he's talented. You know, Mike Myers and Jimmy Fallon are the perfect examples of doing so much with so little.
And isn't that what America's all about?
And this is what this podcast stands for, doing so much with so little. And hello, hi, and welcome.
Speaking of so little, I'm Mike Bongiorno.
I'm Emilio Sparks.
Welcome.
And together we form like the mighty Voltron to give you podcasting goodness.
Yeah. Let's go to the news. Mr. Leslie Moonves, Les Moonves to the kids, was the CEO of CBS. He's out now. What you've probably been hearing in the news is this guy was very powerful, and David Letterman used to make fun of him a lot on his show. 6 women have come forward with sexual assault accounts, and then there's been other complaints from other people, and he's out now. So I don't want to get into all that because he's a big creep, and you know where the Pop Culture Man children stand on creeps. But something that did come out in the last couple of days that I found fascinating and I wanted to talk about. In 2004, during the Super Bowl, when Janet Jackson and Justin Timberlake had their quote-unquote wardrobe malfunction, where Justin said, "I'm gonna have you naked by the end of the song," and then ripped her shirt and her boob was there. Les Moonves became obsessed with Janet Jackson and trying to destroy her career. I'm getting this from the Daily Mail. The so-called malfunction saw Jackson's breasts exposed for less than a second after Justin Timberlake tore some fabric from her bustier during the performance. CBS and MTV, which was then owned by Viacom, the parent company of CBS at the time, faced huge criticism and a $550,000 FCC fine. Moonves hated Jackson 7 years later, it was claimed. Furious that Jackson had signed a book deal with CBS, which was owned by Simon & Schuster, he said to us, shouted, "How the fuck did this slip through?" So even 7 years later, he finds out that she's doing a book with Simon & Schuster. He's like, I don't want this to happen.
Yeah, he's carrying a grudge.
Yeah, he apparently really hated her. We're going back 14 years now. But I always felt like JT walked away from that spotless.
Just easy, with no problem.
And she took the hit. I never believed the wardrobe malfunction thing.
That's bullshit.
Because the lyric is, I'm going to have you naked. And I believe she had a star pasty over her nipple.
It wasn't a pasty.
What was it?
I remember watching the Super Bowl thinking, oh, wow, that was cool.
Yeah.
It was like a ring nipple thing because it looked like a sun around the nipple.
So that's there on purpose,
Honestly,
right?
it was no big deal. It wasn't a big deal.
I think America was so shocked to see half a second of a black boobie. They freaked out, and then Les Moonves hated her.
I think it was more that they saw the nipple at the Super Bowl. Like, oh, that's the big to-do. This is America's game.
Yes.
What are we doing?
Yeah.
We can't sexify football.
Right. This is a game where grown men get concussions and end up
exactly.
becoming fucked up for the rest of their lives. Let's not take the wholesome out of it.
Yeah. But, that's an interesting time to look at the whole Nipplegate thing. From that point on, everything started to change in the way media
Things
started
got tighter.
to, I don't want to say de-evolve, because we got some really good forward-thinking shows years later.
But there was a conservatism.
There was a rise in conservatism.
Also because 9/11 had happened a couple years before that.
Literally, we're post 9/11.
Everybody's
still
real uptight.
Very, very sensitive and very, very on edge. And the whole, we have to make America what it was in the 50s and wholesome and apple pie. And what's more wholesome and apple pie than tossing around a pigskin with Dad Sundays in the fall before the game?
Yeah.
You know?
Right. And people were very upset by
over a nipple. But meanwhile, there's nipples flying around on television all over the place.
And meanwhile, this guy is sexually assaulting people, but he's angry at her. It's bullshit.
Well, you know what they say, Mike.
What?
Those who live in glass houses shouldn't throw nipply stones.
They do say that.
Yeah.
Speaking of glass houses, there's a new TV spot for Jodie Whittaker's season of Doctor Who. There's a very wink, wink, nod, nod where she's standing in like this sort of like, I don't know what, like a palace. And then the camera zooms up and you see a glass ceiling. It like shakes and breaks and all the glass starts raining down and it starts raining around her. And she just looks at the camera and goes, oops. So everyone read that as she's breaking the glass ceiling. This is the glass ceiling of you weren't going to have a female Doctor Who, and now she's doing it. Some people were, of course, butthurt about it, and some people were like, this is cool. It's just a little spot. It was barely anything,
Who gives a shit in reality? I'm looking forward to the change of just stuffy white men being the Doctor.
Right.
Now let's give us some new blood now.
Yeah.
Let's just, the old way is the old way. Nothing will change. You could go back on the BBC app and you can watch all the Doctor Who you want. You can watch all the stuffy old white men you want.
Yeah.
Now let's get a little radical. Let's understand our thinking.
Ceiling.
Let's break the glass ceiling and just see what she can do. But what I'm upset about.
Yeah.
The war that you wanted to rage with the BBC, dead.
The war is over. They took down our Instagram, and, I'm fine with it at this point. Live and let live, I say. I'm excited for Jodie Whittaker's season to begin. It's in October. It's going to Sundays, which was its traditional day for years and years. Like, most of its history was Sunday. And then it became Saturday, 10 years ago or something, and now it's back to Sunday, which I don't know. Sunday has a totally different vibe from Saturday, but anyway, I'm excited about it. In a complete, total wimp out turnaround, the Oscars have quote unquote postponed the popular film category.
Of course.
Postponing meaning it's not going to happen. Everyone hated it. Steven Spielberg was like, I don't get it. What is this? This is stupid. After everyone shit all over it, they were like, we're going to postpone it, as if they're going to like work it through in a lab and come back with it not being stupid. So I guess they're just not doing it.
Let's just keep the Academy Awards just boring.
I know people who absolutely love them and care about them and like real film people. But as like a film guy, when I was young, I liked it. But now I'm like,
I mean, winning one of those statues still has a lot of merit to it.
I mean, it does a lot for your career, I suppose. The new show is going to be shorter, and thank God for that.
Who's going to host it?
I don't know.
Is it Kimmel coming back?
I feel like they've had a nice run with Kimmel, right?
I like Kimmel on it.
You know, if you look at the trajectory of Kimmel and Adam Carolla, you see a pathway between legitimacy and physical health and creating a podcast empire for neckbeards and just being an angry old dude.
It's what they do. After you leave Dr. Drew, you just become a mess.
Yeah. And then who was the second host of the Man Show? Doug Stanhope, right?
Yeah.
And then Rogan? Was Rogan?
The pod god. I think Joe Rogan did it. Joe Rogan's career was always interesting to me because for a while he was, that's the guy from News Radio. And then, that's the guy from Fear Factor. And then all of a sudden it's like, wait a minute, UFC got cool.
And then he was that guy from that YouTube video where he jumped on stage and took on Carlos Mencia and was like yelling at him for stealing jokes and calling him fake. And that did a lot for his career as well.
Let me tell you something. You don't want to fuck with Joe Rogan.
That's the last person I want to fuck with.
You ever see Instagram videos of him doing bag work and doing mixed martial arts and jiu-jitsu?
No.
It's scary. And yeah, he was host of the Man Show.
Well, since we're talking about Joe Rogan, let's talk about another piece of the news. Elon Musk, real life Tony Stark, was on Joe Rogan recently, and he smoked weed on camera. He's already had a weird public persona of like, what's this guy about? He was dating Grimes, who was like 30 years younger than him. And now like NASA, who was working with him on something, is like, I don't know if we want to be in business with this guy. He's smoking blunts on podcasts. I don't know. I think like NASA should cool their jets and just be like, who cares? But it is funny to me that Elon Musk continues to be weird. He continues to like fumble around his career.
I think when you're worth that much money, I don't know if it's a license to be weird, but I think it gives you enough room to separate yourself from the rest of us muggles.
Right.
Who don't have your pockets.
Yes.
So you could just be like, you know what? Listen, I might be a little socially awkward.
Yeah.
Might be a little weird. Who gives a shit? I'm worth all this. I'm creating an electric car. I'm trying to better humanity. Even though I don't think Elon Musk is trying to better humanity because I've listened to enough NPR to know that working for Tesla is not the greatest thing in the world.
Yeah, he's not the coolest guy.
No. He's not really Tony Stark. No.
Although he could make the turn, right? Because Tony was not a cool guy first.
Yes, a womanizing playboy in the beginning, and then once he created the arc reactor in the cave, he totally had a life change. I'm
trying to look up this because I want to know.
I've seen it.
You've seen it?
Yeah.
Did Rogan light it and hand it to him,
yeah.
or was Musk like the one like let's do this? Who initiated it?
Rogan lit it, passed it because Rogan.
But Rogan doesn't. He's a big pothead, but he doesn't always smoke on the show.
There's a couple of times he's done it. He's done it with Joey Diaz.
Well, Joey Coco Diaz is a fucking monster. I mean. He's a fucking guy who's high all the time. Yeah, he's not getting us to the moon.
Neither is Elon Musk apparently now.
So
it's. I don't think it's a big deal. Oh, his stock went down. Yeah, you know how much it went down? A whole 9 points.
Yeah. And then they offered him a porn role in a porn movie?
Of course they did. Hey, listen, you might be broke now.
Yeah.
So here's a Vivid contract.
Yeah.
Let's do a fucking parody of you smoking pot with Joe Rogan.
I know.
Get out of here. This is where we're getting too sensitive.
It's stupid. Look, I don't smoke weed. I don't smoke weed.
The crazy part about it is he didn't even say nothing crazy. They were just talking about bro science.
It's the optics, though. You Google it, and you see an image of him with the big thing in his hand and the fucking cloud of smoke, and he looks like a guy chilling, smoking weed.
This is also something I think that was done just to get the Joe Rogan experience to be.
And that's the thing. It feels very like staged for the optics.
Yeah.
Which again makes me feel like why would you want to do that?
Which is why Rogan's a pod god.
I love Rogan.
So do I.
I agree with about 80% of the things he says. and think like this guy's a genius, and then 20% of things he says, I'm like, this guy fucking
nuts,
has no idea what he's talking about. But that's good. You know what I mean? Because what are you gonna just agree with everybody?
I like Rogan. You'll never hear me slander Joe Rogan.
I know.
I like
him.
His bro science theories sometimes are a little odd, but
he's got some weird shit. But
the thing is this though too, and I really don't see people questioning.
Yeah.
Some of the things that he'll say. And I think this is not a problem with him. I think it's more a problem with the listener. And a lot of
his listeners are fanatics
for
him.
It's a cult. But I will say this. When was the last time somebody actually picked up a book and actually read some of the things that anybody would talk about? And then to be like, well, I call bullshit on this. Because this is what I've read.
Sometimes he says brilliant things, and then sometimes, recently he was talking to Henry Rollins, and he was saying how fat shaming works, and he was like, "Yeah, man, like my friends, they fat shamed each other, and they both lost weight." And I'm like, I don't know, because also you don't know what's a bit or not. You know what I mean? Because he does. What does he do? Like 13 hours a day? He's ridiculous with that podcast.
He's a machine. But again, it comes down to...
And he don't edit shit. I don't think.
No, but again, I think what it comes down to is that people really don't want to do the investigative work themselves. They don't want to sit there. They don't want to read. Like, they're not into it.
So you think Rogan's out there in the library looking shit up?
I think Joe Rogan actually will sit there and read some shit. Yeah, I don't see him...
No, he's definitely got some good ideas.
So I know that sometimes technology can make a person stupid, and it's also very divisive, I can load a television show on my phone, push a button, and then it's on my TV. So that's a technological standpoint. Like, wow, this is great, but then I can get sucked into the show for X amount of hours... And I don't know, I feel like I'm a walking zombie where my brain is kind of like Jell-O for a little while.
So you think that maybe if you just spent all day, every day, 20 hours a day listening to Joe Rogan, it might not be the healthiest thing for you?
Listen, again, I don't think Joe Rogan is going to really be the end of civilization as we know it.
I don't think so
I don't
at
think
all.
it's not going to be 1984 because we're listening to Joe Rogan's podcast.
No, yeah.
But, call bullshit on the fact that not everybody can go hunt elk and eat elk meat.
Well,
have an On It sponsorship.
His interview with what's his fucking name? Speaking of hunting,
Ted Nugent
was great.
It was.
The last time he was with Alex Jones, and he was like, "Yeah, like our relationship has to end because you're off the deep end now." Like that was good. Like he has balls too. Like he'll say whatever to anybody.
No, and I like that, but he's also this big, burly dude, and who's really wants to challenge that? But the stuff with the Eli Musk thing, I'm watching it, and I'm hearing him talk, and he's clearly a smart dude.
Elon?
Yeah, but
but
sometimes he comes off like a fucking moron. Like, if you watch the thing, it's like he's like a moron, and like how we reached this point where like there's no practical knowledge, and IQ is like not defined in certain ways when people explain certain things.
Yeah.
Like, we can come on here, right? Spit all this rhetoric.
Yes.
But because maybe we do it in a way where we convince you guys that, oh, these are quote-unquote experts because one is a professor and has a media license to do so, and then the other guy has been doing radio professionally since he's 14
I do have a license
old.
to mediate.
You kind of think like, okay.
We're wrong. We're wrong a lot, I'm sure.
But do people really ponder what we're saying, or do they just go with it because it's convincing speech?
No, I don't think that we seduce anybody with our rhetoric. I think that our fans are probably super, super sharp, and they are like, they call bullshit on us. And hey, if you like the majority of the things we say, stick with us. Listen, I think a good adage is if you don't disagree with somebody, or if you see somebody on TV or in the media that you agree with everything they say, they're probably not really saying much.
Yeah.
Warner Brothers is the first major movie studio to implement an inclusion rider. This is something that actually Frances McDormand brought up at the last Oscars, and it sort of became a kind of buzzword, like, okay, inclusion rider. And it basically means like when you work on a film, you have almost like a legal obligation to make sure that everyone behind and in front of the camera, you have diversity. This initiative with Warner Brothers was actually started with the help of Michael B. Jordan, who's got a new movie coming out called Just Mercy, and it's the first Warner Brothers film to feature the inclusion rider. Warner Brothers chairman and CEO Kevin Surahara released a statement saying, "I'm proud that Warner Brothers and our sister companies HBO and Turner are willing to state unequivocally that this is where we stand on diversity and inclusion. Our policy commits us to take concrete action to further our goals, to measure our outcomes, and to share the results publicly. We are thrilled to be able to work with Michael B. Jordan to craft a meaningful policy and framework that will apply to all our products across all our divisions going forward." So I think this is a very cool thing. It's an initiative by a major movie company, a major media outlet, that is saying people hired have to be a diverse group, which will make the industry more inclusive, and it'll give people opportunities that they may not have had before. Now that Warner has done this, I think it might inspire some other companies to do it.
I just question, why wasn't this a thing sooner?
Right.
Why does somebody have to win an Oscar for it to be implemented by a big studio?
Well, I think Michael B. Jordan walked into Warner Brothers and took the CEO and said, "Is this your CEO?" and threw him in the water. And he became CEO for a day. And then when the guy crawled back out of the water, he was like, "Okay, you got me. Inclusion rider."
It's a great Black Panther callback. It's very good. It's very good. Do you want to go to Trailer Corner?
Yes, let's. Netflix released a small little spot for She-Ra, Princesses of Power.
So there's a whole squad
of
princesses.
It's not the Princess of Power anymore. It's
the princesses.
It gave us our first real look at, movement, how Aurora and She-Ra are going to move, and the animation style. We heard She-Ra's voice, which is an interesting voice. We heard Aurora's voice, not really She-Ra's voice. And we heard the Sorceress's voice, which sounds a lot like... actually, I think it was an homage to the very first scene in the first She-Ra episode, where you hear the Sorceress's voice calling her, "Aurora!" And she goes and finds the sword. And she says, "For the honor of Grayskull." In it. So... I'm excited about it.
Looks cool. I mean, the animation could be a little bit better. I mean, especially that is DreamWorks and what they did with Voltron, but...
Yeah. Well, how is the Voltron animation differ from the She-Ra, from what you've seen?
It's just a little bit more anime, but the lines are cleaner, and they mix between digital and hand-drawn cells.
Well, there was some digital, right? Because most of the spot was... sort of 3D rendering of her sword, and we were seeing images from the show like reflected in the metal of the sword.
Oh yeah, but still at the same time too, to me it's that new age style of animation that certain animators
It's very
choose.
thin line.
Yes,
but it's very anime. It's more anime than I thought it was going to be,
which is cool. It's fine. I don't think I'm gonna watch it. I don't think it's bad.
The little bit we saw,
I'm not blown away by it. I was blown away when I first saw the Voltron trailer. I was like, wow, all right, Jesus.
Yeah, I mean, the little bit we saw of her world looked good.
It's fine.
When she was becoming She-Ra, I liked that her hair went crazy and engulfed her.
Yeah.
That was very Sailor Moon-y. So I'm down with it.
That's the vibe that I got.
Yeah, Sailor Moon-y. Even her outfit looks Sailor Moon-y.
It's just like take one part Thor, one part Sailor Moon, mix it all up in a bouillabased, and you're getting She-Ra Princesses of Power.
The showrunner said that it's this is She-Ra, but do you think maybe around the end of season 1 there'll be a little bit of a cliffhanger, there was another child, there was another, or something like that?
Are we going on our theory a couple episodes back on Pop Culture Man Children?
No, not the King Randor
sold her
off. No, right. I'm just wondering if
you'd have to, right?
Netflix and DreamWorks will bring in He-Man. Not necessarily they got to make a He-Man show, but maybe they'll bring in He-Man the way that Supergirl eventually brought in Superman. He's just sort of there sometimes.
You have to, right?
Unless they have a rule in their writer's room, no He-Man ever. Never He-Man.
Maybe not. Maybe we should just break away from that. I don't think we need it.
I like her original backstory. I would like that if there was a He-Man, but not necessarily that we need him or see him.
Maybe he's referenced.
Maybe we just meet Adam, and he's a little punk.
Maybe one day he's just on the big screen and somebody walks in and you just see like a picture of a guy looking like Prince Adam and just shuts off the video scope.
Which is, yeah, exactly.
They were like FaceTiming each other.
Right. Yeah, yes. Through the sword itself.
Yeah.
They do FaceTiming.
Yeah. So maybe that, but I look forward to it. It's cool, man. Like, just let it be, folks. Like, I was reading some of the comments, and I started to...
Oh, people had comments?
Yeah, it's just, I don't want to... I'm not going to go into them nor read them, because I don't want to give the haters credit. But all I'm going to say is, yo, man, hate is hate.
That's what they do.
Hate is hate.
That's what they're about.
So it's just like, all right, I'm going to leave you be. Just watch it, see where it goes. You did the same thing about Voltron, and then... Voltron changed a lot of people's perspective.
People hate on the Voltron?
They were hating on the Voltron originally. Who is this Shiro? Where's Sven? Like, oh, wow.
Because Voltron has different human characters?
Yeah, well, Voltron has the 5 paladins, and in the original there was...
Avi.
Sven, Keith, Lance, Pidge,
all the
Hunk,
Backstreet Boys.
All the BSBs. And then in the new one, they replaced Sven with Shiro.
So another trailer we watched was Viper Club, which is a drama starring Susan Sarandon, which is about a woman who's an ER nurse, and her son is a war correspondent journalist, and he's kidnapped in Syria, and the government won't do anything to help her. So in desperation, she goes to Edie Falco, who is like this underground activist who like gets rich people to come up with money, and it's Susan Sarandon in this ragtag group trying to like get money to like save her son, and the government's like, don't do this, and Susan Sarandon's like, do you know what the fuck I am? I'm Susan Sarandon.
And that's pretty much the whole movie, and then there's consequences as to why she got the money.
Yeah.
We don't know what the consequences are. We don't know if the son is even going to be released into the mother's open embracing arms,
Yeah.
The guy from White Collar stars in it.
I was like, who is this guy? How do I know him?
He was in Magic Mike as well.
I've seen both of those masterpieces. Who was he in Magic Mike?
He was the singer.
Right.
In the second one, they gave him a little bit more of a backstory.
Right.
Where he was also a yoga instructor and a Reiki.
Yes.
But he was also a singer.
This is coming back to me now.
Yeah.
The first one's better than the second one.
It was missing Matthew McConaughey. That's why.
Yeah, the second one was desperately missing Matthew McConaughey. I mean, it's a drama. Usually on PCMC, we talk about like genre stuff and like your superheroes and your cartoons, and so this is a Susan Sarandon drama. I mean, it looks good.
It's a Susan Sarandon movie.
She's going for it again. She wants that Oscar.
Isn't it a YouTube original?
Yes, it is. It's a YouTube movie. How about that, folks?
So it's not in theaters?
No, I believe it's going to have a theatrical release.
Really?
Yeah.
This is where it's going, man. Netflix actually did a really good job at the Emmy Awards this year.
Yeah.
They actually won a couple of things.
Next, there's going to be a VTech original motion picture that you can watch on your fucking Frog thing.
Leapfrog.
Your Leapfrog. Only available on Leapfrog.
Leapfrog, folks.
So the last trailer we watched was for this very weird black comedy satire called Assassination Nation.
Yeah.
The trailer itself claims it's like the child of Heathers and The Purge. It looks very stylized. It's a group of teenage girls.
Very sassy girls.
Very sassy. They're
very modern.
Yes, they're very postmodern. They're hanging out in pink rooms and orange rooms and very stylized. And I guess they have a lot of dirt on people from like a party, and somebody hacks their phones and sends out the dirt on everybody in the town. They're in Salem, I believe, Salem, Massachusetts. And then like the person who sets them up is like, oh, it's these girls, and then towards the end of the trailer, it got crazy. It got very Purge-like. You see, like, the cops, like, on a bullhorn, like, we know what these girls did to us.
Yeah.
You're not gonna get away with this. And, like, people fucking trying to kill the girls, and then the girls out in the street, like a fucking squad with, like, guns and shit.
Yeah, girl squad.
Yeah. It was a kind of trailer where it started one place.
And went a totally different one.
And I was like, oh, okay. All right, we're,
I want to watch it. I want to watch it.
Yeah, it looks good.
I want to watch it.
I love a movie like that. Last year I loved Tragedy Girls. I love a dark comedy, Hard Candy, But I'm a cheerleader. I love like a high school movie that's like super crazy. And
Well, I
dark.
think this is the year for those things, like specifically Slice and this one.
Yeah.
I think like we're starting to see like, hey, let's do some more dark comedies. Everything doesn't have to be capes and robots.
Yeah. Let's get dark. Well, Assassination Nation looks fun. It's good looking. That's always a hard thing to do, tones like that. The trailer didn't strike me as funny.
No, me either.
But then there's crazy things happening in it, which would imply that it has a sort of winky tone. So, we'll see. All right, well, that's it for Trailer Corner. Let's take a break.
Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch no bandit run. Keep your foot hard on the pedal, son, never mind them brakes. Let it all hang out, cause we got a run to make. The boys are thirsty in Atlanta, and there's beer in Texarkana, and we'll bring it back no matter what it takes. Eastbound and down, loaded up and trucking. Are we gonna do what they say can't be done? We've got a long way to go and a short time to get there. I'm eastbound, just watch old bandit run.
On the last full episode, we talked about Dollywood. And that got us into a conversation about
the best little whorehouse
in Texas. And, of course, Burt Reynolds is in that movie. And wouldn't you know it, not that long after we recorded that, Burt Reynolds died of a heart attack at 82.
Morta!
And literally, Nadia, a friend of the show, she texted me and said, are you going to do a Burt Reynolds episode? And I thought she was referring to all the Burt Reynolds talk in the last episode. I was like, that's a good idea. And then I saw that Burt Reynolds died, and I was like, oh, that's what she was talking about. Emilio, Burt Reynolds died. Burt. Hey, when I think of Burt Reynolds, I often think about Norm Macdonald's impression of him, where he's like chewing. Turd Ferguson.
Okay, so this is how my stuff with Burt happened. Obviously, I think
stuff with Burt.
I think everybody watches, like maybe our age first, will know him because of Smokey and the Bandit.
Yeah.
And then I think you get into other stuff that he's done. From there, it went to Sharky's Machine for me.
Okay.
And then Deliverance.
I remember as a little kid
Evening Shades.
watching a lot of Evening Shades.
Which was really good.
I don't think I knew what was going on at all.
You don't get the jokes because it's, adult-based comedy.
Yeah.
But you're like, oh, there's something cool about this.
I didn't even get the title. I was like, Evening Shade? What? What is it? Is it about a lamp? I did not get it at all.
Yeah, same.
I believe Lonnie Anderson was on that show as well.
Evening Shades?
Yeah.
No, Lonnie Anderson was not on Evening Shades. What are you talking about?
I feel like she was.
No, she was on WKRP in Cincinnati.
Well, I know he was married to her too, right?
He was.
I think she was
he
on
loved
Evening
her.
Shade.
He bigged her up so much on Carson.
He was also with Froggy
Sally Field?
for a bunch of years.
He loved her, though.
She's got a new book coming out, and she said literally, I'm glad he won't get to read it.
Oh, she's going to rip him apart?
I don't know if she's going to rip him apart, but I think she's going to be honest.
He was a sex stud, let's be honest. He was the guy on a bearskin rug,
right.
Nude.
A lot of kids today probably don't realize that the image of Deadpool lying on the rug
is Burt Reynolds.
Right. It's a parody of Burt Reynolds lying naked on a rug. But you know what? A guy who looks like that wouldn't be a sex symbol now because he's hairy. He's not too cut. He was like an old-fashioned man.
Well, in the best little whorehouse in Texas, he was pretty cut. In Deliverance, he was in good shape, but he was in 70s shape, though.
Right, exactly. I'm not taking anything away from him. But I don't think you'll have...
made me embrace my chest hair.
Absolutely.
To realize it's sexy.
But I think if we showed that bearskin rug image to... Emilio showing me his chest, and I didn't ask for it. If we showed that...
Look at this.
I'm looking at it. You're so pale. It's like soot on, like, snow. It's awful. but not as hairy as Burt. And Burt had it going all the way down.
Oh, it started from his neck
Yeah.
all the way down to his taint.
Sadly, it wasn't on the top of the head, because quite famously he wore
A really bad toupee.
a rug. When did the rug start?
I think around Deliverance.
Oh, really? That early?
I mean, look at his hairline.
I think a lot of our younger fans probably have heard his name. How many acting credits do you think he has? I've got the IMDb right here. Give me a number. Acting credits.
Acting credits. I'm going to say around 250.
You overshot it. 185.
Okay.
That's just credits, because I also remember him from the alien sitcom Out of This World, where he played the voice of the dad, and he did that uncredited.
Yes.
So yeah, kids today probably don't realize how big he was. Who do you think? What star today would you say is like Burt Reynolds? Just to
There
give
is
the kids,
no star like Burt
but just
Reynolds.
on level of fame, he was huge. Like
Was
kids
he really,
don't.
though?
Yes, he was huge.
Because he had a
magazines,
string of flops.
Yeah, but he was always in the public eye. He started off, I believe, as a college football player.
Yeah, he did.
And then he moved into TV and movies. His first credit is 2 episodes on the TV show Flight from 1958. And then some more TV, and then...
Well, he was also in Gunsmoke from 62 to 65. Don't forget
Yes.
that. Because everybody was in Gunsmoke.
Because you had to be. It was like jury duty. Playhouse 90. He was in Alfred Hitchcock Presents. Played a lot of cops early on, I think. He was huge. Like, I want to say like a Ryan Reynolds, because like people wanted to...
As a sex symbol?
Yeah.
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 Maybe like part Ryan Reynolds, part Gerard Butler.
If you're listening right now, your mom had a crush on Burt Reynolds.
I wonder if my mom had a crush on Burt Reynolds.
I bet she did. I bet she did.
So where is she? You want to ask her?
That's entirely up to you, my friend.
Mom? Mom? Come here for 1 minute. We need an honest opinion here.
Did you find Burt Reynolds sexy?
I like Burt. Yeah, I liked him. He was the hot man back in the day.
He was the hot man, right?
Yeah, he was good looking. He had a nice smile, nice walk.
Right.
Why?
He was hairy. Well, we were just talking about him because he passed away.
I know. I like Burt. I'm going to miss him. He was an icon in the movie. He struggled getting up there.
Yeah, yeah.
He did.
What about when he lost his hair and he had like the hairpiece? Was he still good looking, or did you turn your back on him?
No, I always liked Burt Reynolds. I liked him in Smokey and the Bandit. And what's that one with the football?
Oh, Longest
That
Yard.
one, he was great in that. I liked him best when he was with Sally Fields, too. I think they made a great couple.
Yeah, and
Him
they were a
and
couple in
Sally.
real life too.
Yeah.
Emilio, do you have anything else you want to ask your mother?
Was he a megastar like Mike is putting him out to be, or was he just moderately
Because I don't think
famous?
kids today understand how huge he was.
He was big in the day. He really was.
You're a doll.
Thank you.
So there you go.
He was huge.
There you go.
He was
Somebody who lived
huge.
it.
And you know what? He's not like these young men now who like every day they get up and they go working out. Burt didn't need to work out.
No.
He got up, he combed his chest hair.
That's
He
it.
probably had a gin and tonic for breakfast. Went out, hung out with Dom DeLuise a little bit.
I probably would have been successful
Played
if I
racquetball.
was in the 70s.
Oh, you would be... That was your time. That was your time. Absolutely.
Me, Tom Selleck, and Burt Reynolds all would have hung out.
Oh, guys, you guys would have been a fucking motley crew.
Just sex gods. Just walking around shirtless and hairy. Dominating our respected industries. Burt in films. Tom in TV. Emilio Sparks on radio. And music. We just would have been just hairy men. Just hanging out.
But you're not a wisecracking Southern good old boy.
No, I'm not.
And that's kind of his charm.
Yeah, but if it was our trio of sex studs, it would be Tom Selleck would be the nice, charming Midwestern boy
Yeah.
with the overall appeal.
Burt would be the one with the wheat in his mouth.
He would just be the leader of
Being
the group.
aloof.
He would be the leader of the group because he's Burt.
Do you think he and Jackie Gleason got along? Because Jackie
You know,
Gleason was
alright,
a known asshole
All right, so I'm hearing mixed reviews. I posted one of my favorite scenes
from Smokey and the Bandit.
from Smokey and the Bandit on my Facebook page. And it's the scene where Burt is in the diner getting the cheeseburgers and drinking the tall iced tea.
Because that's what sex symbols can eat back then.
Yeah, cheeseburgers and drink iced tea. In walks in Buford T. Justice. Now,
he's Smokey, right? Smokey's the cop.
Smokey's the cop.
Yeah.
And then the bandit's
the bandit.
the bandit. So now he's sitting there, he's drinking his tea, in walks in Jackie Gleason and goes, "Let me get a Dr. Pepper and a Diablo sandwich. And make it quick, I'm in a rush." That's all improv between the both of them. Jackie wrote that scene because in the script he felt that they needed a scene together in the movie
where they almost meet. Because he doesn't know, he doesn't know
what he
the
looks
bandit's
like.
the bandit.
So he was like, "We need this. Let's ad-lib the whole thing."
Okay.
They ad-lib it. It's a home run. But from what I've read and from what I watched, the interaction between them was very, very limited.
Yeah, you hear a lot of things about Jackie Gleason not being pleasant to work with.
But that scene is magic, though.
Why so? Why do you think so? Why
Because,
is that your favorite
all right,
scene?
so you look at it, and to me, Gleason's the overall performer. He did it all, you know, and the stories
vaudeville
about
to TV,
from
to
vaudeville
movies.
to early
Big
television
band music.
Exactly. He did everything. He did big band music. He had the Jackie Gleason Orchestra, which did the intro to The Honeymooners and the Jackie Gleason Show. He even had a record deal.
Yeah. Put out a lot of music.
Jackie Gleason's orchestra had one of my favorite songs that is called "I'll Be Seeing You" for the Jackie Gleason Orchestra. It's beautiful. So he did vaudeville. He did early TV. He did TV. He did movies. I mean, Minnesota Fats.
Yeah,
right. As the hustler.
Dramatic role.
He's done it all.
Yeah.
So to me, he's the overall performer. And here you have this guy.
This young buck.
This handsome bastard who, outside of just maybe some television and Deliverance, really didn't have that big breakout role.
Right.
You know? So now he's in there doing this interaction, and you're seeing Burt, which essentially I don't think he did comedy before Smokey and the Bandit. I don't know. I don't see it.
No,
as
I'm not.
that.
No, I don't think he did either.
So you see that he actually ad-libs and has some chops with him, like when Gleason's eating the Diablo sandwich and he's talking. "Nobody chases me, boy. I do the chasing." As he's spitting on his face, Burt's like wiping it away.
That's fun.
You know, he's holding his own and letting Gleason be Gleason.
Right.
And he's playing like, all right, I don't want to flip my card too much because I don't want him to think, or I don't even want him to listen to me speak because he might recognize my voice and then, oh shit, I'm screwed. And then he goes, what does he say? "Where's the bathroom? I gotta go take a squirt." And then he leaves, and then fucking Burt Reynolds tear asses out. Frog picks him up in the car. He jumps in the car, and then they take off, and Gleason hears the engine revving, and he walks out with toilet paper on his shoe. It's probably the greatest interaction between those two. It's a great scene. And besides, there were chemistry back and forth when they were doing the CB shit.
Well, they had chemistry. It's just Jackie Gleason was a great performer. It just he was known to be like not the nicest guy off screen.
But Burt never talks about Jackie Gleason.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know, man. Maybe he just felt some type of way.
Now, they made sequels to Smokey and the Bandit, but without Burt, right?
Smokey and the Bandit 2 has Burt. Smokey and the Bandit 3 does not.
But doesn't 2 just have him like walk into the movie and be like, "Here I am, bye"?
No, he's in 2.
Oh, he is in 2?
He's in 2. The full thing.
Okay. By the way, a Diablo sandwich.
What is a Diablo sandwich?
It's essentially a jazzed up sloppy Joe. That's all I could find for it. When I Googled it, I found a reference to...
Give me a Dr. Pepper and a Diablo sandwich.
Right, exactly. So I think that's where a lot of America first heard of it. People don't realize that Smokey and the Bandit was it was one of the first movies to do the outtake thing, to show the outtakes, the funny outtakes.
Didn't that come out the same week Star Wars came out?
I believe we had this conversation, yeah. Or not the same week, definitely the same year.
Smokey and the Bandit came out May 19th, 1977.
Yeah.
Star Wars came out May 25th, 1977.
Wow.
And Star Wars made $775 million, and Smokey and the Bandit made $300 million.
Wow. It's amazing that with Star Wars around, it was still able to be a huge hit.
Yeah.
Wait, I've got here some roles that he turned down.
Oh, God, what were they?
Han Solo in Star Wars. The main character in One Flew Over the Cuckoo's Nest. John McClane in Die Hard. He says he doesn't regret that. Quote, "I don't regret turning down anything Bruce Willis did." Ooh, what is that? Some shade. Spilling some tea right there. Oh, he turned down a chance to play James Bond in 1969. In my infinite wisdom, I said to producer Cubby Broccoli, an American can't play James Bond. It just can't be done. And they really wanted to talk me into it. It was a 10-minute discussion. Finally, they left. Every night I wake up in a cold sweat. He would have been a good Bond. He would have had to get the accent down.
I don't think he could have did it.
You don't think so?
James Bond?
Yeah.
No.
Ah, come on.
No. I think there's a level of sophistication you need with that role. Outside of being brawny and hunky, I don't think he could have.
You know, he regretted the 1972 Cosmopolitan nude image. He was embarrassed by it later on in life.
Which one, the bearskin rug?
Yeah, the one.
That's iconic, though.
I had a friend who, on her birthday one year, she had that image on her birthday cake.
See?
Burt on the rug.
But that's an iconic image, though. I want us to recreate that image for Pop Culture Man Children. I want our next episode art, when we change up the podcasting art, should just be us wearing, like, nothing on a bearskin rug.
Okay.
Just maybe toys covering our genitals.
What? But are we cuddling each other? How do we both fit into it? You should be the bear, and I should be on top of you.
So that could work.
Because you're hairier than me. You're much hairier than me.
I don't think so.
Yeah. Look,
What? Bro, look at your arms.
your arms are much hairier than mine.
I don't know.
Darker hair, too.
Darker. But I'm also very light. You got a nice dusting on your chest.
I mean, I like the way that my body hair is sort of, plays out.
It flows with your body more. Mine is, it doesn't really.
Yeah, it's sort of all over. It's got a scatter shot. It looks like you shaved somebody and then put glue on your chest and just threw hair on it.
Yeah, because I don't have any on my back and on my sides.
What else do I have here? Burt Reynolds was a huge fan of Marlon Brando. Brando did not share the sentiment. When Reynolds was being considered for the role of Michael Corleone in Godfather, see, he was so big, like, he was up for everything. He was A-list. Can you imagine him as Michael Corleone?
No, I can't. No.
Brando adamantly declared that if Reynolds was given the role, he would remove himself from the project, and the rest is history.
I would like to see Burt do Sonny Corleone.
Oh, he'd be perfect for Sonny.
I think, Jimmy Caan is great.
But no, he's got the temperament. He could totally be. You can imagine him picking up the garbage can and beating
Touch
Carlo.
my sister again and I'll kill you.
Biting his hand and beating the shit out of Carlo. Brando later said, "He is the epitome of something that makes me want to throw up. He is the epitome of everything that is disgusting about the thespian. He worships at the temple of his own narcissism." Wow, Marlon Brando did not like Burt Reynolds.
I think Marlon Brando also fucking worshipped the temple of his own narcissism as well.
This one won't surprise you. Burt Reynolds put out an album.
Of course.
Called Ask Me What I Am.
Did you know that he also owned a private dinner theater in Jupiter, Florida?
Really?
Yeah, and it focused on training young performers looking to enter show business. He also has a PhD.
Get the fuck out of here.
Swear to God.
No, he doesn't.
Yes.
In what?
Burt Reynolds was awarded an honorary doctorate from the Florida State University in 1981.
Honorary.
He still got a PhD, bro. Still got a PhD. And then he later endorsed the construction for a new performing arts facility.
Oh, sounds like he buttered them up. Oh, you want a new building?
Dr. Burt Reynolds, PhD. How does that make you feel?
Well, I don't feel like he earned it.
FSU? That's a big-time institution, pal.
It's a great honor, but he couldn't, take that PhD and then, go and, do anything with it.
I guarantee
he couldn't
you...
then become a researcher. And
I guarantee you, if he said, hey, listen, I will accept this position under one condition, I teach an acting class.
Well, I'm sure he could teach an acting class. It's funny, a week ago, he was probably kind of a pop culture joke. And now that he's dead, people are going to look at stuff and be like, oh, he was actually good.
He was good.
He did good things.
He did.
Yeah.
He has a body of work that people will remember.
You listen to Pop Culture Man Children. We're going to take a little break. Be right back.
I like fancy frilly things, high heel shoes and diamond rings, ragtime bands and western swing, and sneaking around with you.
Well, I like beer and rodeos, detective books and dominoes, football games and Cheerios, and sneaking around with you.
Sneaking around with you, going around that tree, doing what lovers do.
sneaking around.
I like lots of cash on hand and dirty jokes about the fuller brush man.
I like stuff I understand, like sneaking around.
Stuff? You know, I like a thrill that has no strings.
Friendship that don't ever change.
And laughter from the joy of things. And sneaking around with you. Sneaking around with you. Going around the two. Doing what lovers do.
Whenever they're sneaking around.
Figure out how to do like a really good colon cleanse that really cleans out like.
High colonic.
Well,
I want to do a high colonic.
so do I. I want to get a colonoscopy, but I was reading on Instagram, I think, which is the worst thing to do to get health advice is on Instagram. But they say that the human body carries around about 10 pounds
Yeah.
of just unreleased fecal matter.
Yeah, just shit that's stuck in you.
So now I want to know, how can I get that out of me?
High colonic. You basically shove a power washer up your ass and they get it. Everyone that I know who has done it says it's amazing and it will change your life and you'll feel better instantly. I'm down.
Yeah, because I want to start strengthening my gut. I don't want a leaky gut because gut health is an important thing.
Yes.
What happened to
Digestive
us?
health.
When
We got
did we
old.
become so...
We're old, you know?
Remember how indestructible we were in our 20s?
Yeah, man. Eating and drinking and doing this, that, and the other thing and being out all night. And
Now I stay up all night reading about gut health, and I'm starting to watch Disney movies at fucking 35.
Oh, good. You're starting to watch Disney movies?
Yeah, I guess. We're back, by the way. This is Pop Culture Man Children, PCMC. For more information on who we are and what we do, go to our Instagram page at Pop Culture Man Children. I'm Emilio Sparks. That over there is Mike Buongiorno, and we're here to tell you what we're obsessed with.
Obsession.
It's been Disney movies, yeah. Yeah,
You're obsessed with Disney movies?
I don't know if I'm obsessed with it, but for the last 3 nights in a row, I've been watching Disney movies.
What have you watched?
I watched Incredibles.
The first one?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not a huge fan of that.
I've never seen it before, so I was like, this is cool.
How'd you feel?
I like it.
Okay.
Craig T. Nelson.
Not a musical.
I don't like the whole let's break out in a song every 6 minutes. I
Right.
think that's a little...
The musical genre.
Well, I think that's a little much. Big Hero 6.
I have not seen that.
I thought that was good. And I am almost finished with Moana.
I loved Moana.
It's all right.
I see what's happening here. I think The Rock's amazing in it. You're Welcome is a great song.
Oh, no, You're Welcome's great. Lin-Manuel Miranda wrote all the lyrics.
There's a line where the sky meets the sea. It calls me.
I've been singing that. I was humming that when you walked in.
No one knows how far it goes. Yeah, it's good. I like Moana.
I just don't like, hey, let's get really deep into the character development.
Yes.
And then 5 minutes in, it's like, all right, it's too much now. Now we got to sing.
First of all, that's the genre. But secondly, I would say that a good musical uses the music to push the plot forward. It doesn't pause to have a song. And I think Moana, when she's singing her songs, I think it's expressing her character. I don't think it feels like, okay, we're stopped now and we're looking at our watches like, okay, when this song's over, we can get back into
But
it.
that's what I'm doing.
But it's
That's what I'm
moving the story forward.
Is it really?
It is, yeah.
Is it really? Or is it just to be like, hey, we just need to get the next scene going?
No, I can't think of any song in there where it feels like we're taking a break. Disney movies are good at using the music as part of it.
I have not watched a bad Disney movie yet.
Yeah, they're good. People like Disney movies.
Like, I didn't know that they were that...
Well done.
Yeah.
How have you been watching these films?
On my iPad.
Okay.
My sister from another mister,
Okay.
Amanda, she was telling me, she's put me on about Disney, and she's showing me pictures of what her husband, and her kids do when they go on vacation. Like, they dress up in Disney and blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
So it started out as because I saw somebody share the Halloween parade on Facebook. So I text her, I go, what the hell is this? This looks fun. Now, I have never been to Disney World.
Really?
I'm
I
a
think
grown-
even...
As a kid, never went.
I went twice as a kid.
You know what it is? Disney, for me and my brother growing up, it was never our thing.
But even if
We weren't Disney kids.
I don't think you even need to like the Disney films and stuff to like Disney World. Disney World is just a fun time.
But also, in the same token, we couldn't afford that.
Well, okay. But
So-
now you want to go.
I don't know if I do. Maybe?
I think you'd enjoy the experience.
Would I?
Yeah, I think
I'm not
you
a
would.
big ride person.
The rides in Disney are not thrill rides like Great Adventure, because I don't like scary things like that either. They're more sort of narrative experiences. You experience a movie. You experience, you end up feeling very magical.
So she said the same thing, Amanda. So she's like, you got to watch Disney movies. I was like, what the hell am I going to watch Disney movies for? I'm a grown man. Like, what is this?
Well, I mean, it's a big gap in your pop culture knowledge.
It is. So then she was like, all right, well, I'm going to share a link, which I did not even know, that you could share your iTunes account with somebody. So she shared her iTunes account with me, and she was like, go to the purchase section and watch all of them.
Okay.
And she has like, I don't know, like 60 fucking...
And you haven't been having a bad time.
No, I'm enjoying it, actually.
So what are you going to watch next?
I'm going to do Up next.
Up's good.
Is Up
good.
a Disney movie?
It's a Pixar movie. But Pixar and Disney are like the same thing.
And I think I'm going to do Aladdin after that.
You've never seen Aladdin?
No.
What about Lion King?
I saw pieces of it.
I would watch Lion King.
The last full Disney movie I seen as a child, I've seen 6
Yeah.
altogether. Dumbo, Robin Hood, Beauty and the Beast,
That's a good one.
Lion King in parts. Do you count that?
Depends on how many parts.
I've seen maybe 20 minutes of it.
No. You have to really watch it.
I've seen up to the part where it goes, everything the light touches is ours.
No, so it gets much better than that.
Oh, okay.
Don't get too used to that character, by the way.
Which one? Oh, the dad?
Yeah, Mufasa.
Okay. Spoiler alert?
Spoiler alert for a 40-year-old movie.
And I seen The Sword and the Stone.
So those aren't terrible movies, but those aren't really like the best movies. Like you
Why?
want to watch the Princess Cycle.
But I like the animation in the ones that I've seen.
I mean, look, the early princess movies have that hand-drawn animation, like Dumbo. You know, like
Dumbo's a princess movie?
no, it's not, but it's that style.
I like the way they drew Robin Hood.
Yeah, Robin Hood's good too.
I've seen pieces of The Jungle Book as well.
Jungle Book to me is a little bit like it meanders. It's not going in a straight line. I love Snow White. I've shown Snow White in class. Sleeping Beauty I used to love. The Little Mermaid is really good.
See,
These are all good. These are all like the real to me, like the real breath. Like the princess movies are like the real to me, like the real like heart of Disney films.
And they all break out into song?
Yeah, they're musicals.
I get the concept of a musical.
Well, you keep saying it like you're an alien who's come down to a planet.
I'm just
and
saying
you're like,
it
what
gets
is this?
annoying
What
because
is
I'm
this
getting
music?
into it. And I like the feisty precociousness of Moana.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden I got to hear her sing about the water. It's just like, no.
The water, her singing about the water is her character. It's her saying, I want more. I don't want to just stay on this island.
Which I
It's
understood.
character
It
development.
connected to me.
Right. So then why is that bad?
I'm just saying, I don't need it every 10 minutes.
I think what you do need is to cut the shit and to fucking let go of your aloof bullshit and admit that Disney movies are good and just like them.
Did I not just say, we have it on record.
But you are resisting.
I'm not
I'm
resisting.
sensing your resistance.
I'm just saying, in the whole Disney scope, I would rather watch something that doesn't break out in a song. Incredibles, Big Hero 6, fuck, I don't know any other ones, so I'm screwed, but those are the only two I can give as a reference point. But I like that. Does it got to be a song every couple of minutes?
Not every.
How
yeah.
would you feel?
A lot of the songs are great.
But how would you feel if we broke out into song on Pop Culture Man Children every 10 minutes?
Again, we're not in the genre of a musical.
But
And
if we
in
put
real
ourselves
life-
in that world.
I mean, I'd feel fine with it, I suppose. It would be a way to move the plot forward, to express our
Singing
inner
about Burt Reynolds'
feelings.
chest hair.
I mean, yeah, if it's moving things forward.
Do I gotta watch all the live action shit too? Or do
No.
I just start?
I mean, there's so much. You know,
You're like, where do I feel like it's too much. Like, where do I start now?
you're freaking out. Take a breath. Take a deep breath.
Like, there's no Mickey, like, there's no Donald or Goofy. Like, what the
those
fuck am
are
I
all the
watching?
those are all the shorts.
Like, what am I watching?
I mean, you could watch some of those shorts. I was never a huge fan of the shorts, but some of them are good. I really like the Halloween one with Uncle Donald and the three nephews and the witch.
So, from a movie standpoint,
Yeah.
what do I got to do? Am I on a good roll here? Am I on a good start?
Sure, why not?
Do I have to watch the Frozen?
Frozen's really good. Frozen's very good.
So I'm gonna have to watch the Frozen.
No one's making you do anything.
No.
man.
I'm making myself do this because as a pop culture man, baby,
It is the largest media company ever.
I'm feeling a little left out outside of the Marvel realm.
Yeah, I mean Disney proper. Disney, you know, not Marvel, not Pixar, not fucking Star Wars. You know, it's its own thing, and you're lacking. You're lacking in knowledge there.
I am.
I think it would be interesting because so many of us grow up with it. It's interesting to see how you'll come upon it, how you feel about it as an adult watching these things for the first time. Although I watched Moana a year ago when it came out, and I fucking loved it.
Yeah, but you were already in, like, you had your taste as a kid.
Right, I knew.
Like, the crack hit the main.
I knew what to expect from a Disney movie.
Like, you smoked the Disney crack very early on.
Yeah, as many Americans do.
I did not.
And of course, like I've said before, I'm not like a shill. Like, I know that they're a giant corporation that has fucked over the culture in a lot of ways by like the shenanigans they pull with copyright law and all that shit. But the movies are good. A lot of the movies are good. Although now they're in a really bad place where they're just remaking the animated films as live action. They did Cinderella already, and then they did Beauty and
But
the
isn't that
Beast.
to keep up with the current trend of what's going on in what they're doing with Marvel and Star Wars? So like, oh shit, we have these intellectual properties. Let's just remake them.
Well, yeah. I mean, it's
make
totally
a
like,
boatload of cash.
yeah. I would like them to just do some other stuff. You know.
Can we bring in our Disney expert next time, or maybe in a couple of weeks?
Yeah. Well, once you've seen more, once you've studied a little bit more,
Yeah.
we can.
I have so many questions.
Quiz you, and he. Mike Fischetti has answers
Because
he
I
knows
just don't-
everything. I mean, he knew the line in Jurassic Park was wrong, where they said the wrong year for when Disney opened.
I just have so many questions.
Well, maybe I can help you. What
Like the
questions do you have?
ethos of it, like Walt Disney himself, and like what they created, and where they get the source material from, and then
Well, they stole it. I mean, or they took things from the public domain, and then once they became a big company,
like why the mouse,
I don't know.
like all these things.
Well, there was a live action short film called Steamboat Bill, and Steamboat Willie is just a parody of that. It's the same movie with a mouse, an animated mouse doing it, which is something Disney never talks about because they don't want to talk about, because they own everyone else's ideas now. They don't want to talk about that they've taken other people's ideas. Like even the early princess movies and stuff, like, you know, Snow White is an old, I think, Italian fairy tale, and Sleeping
like what's
Beauty.
the best Disney movie of all time?
Fuck. You mean an animated film?
When you think Disney, what do you think of?
For me, I mean, I think it has a lot to do with growing up. For me, it's got to be either Lion King or The Little Mermaid. I think those are both excellent films. I think someone younger than me would probably say like Mulan or something.
And which was the last one that they actually did animation, like hand-drawn animation instead of computer?
Hand-drawn? It was either Lilo and Stitch or The Frog Prince, which I've never seen The Frog Prince.
And do they ever go back to that, or no? This computer-generated shit.
No,
is-
it's all different now, Daddy. It's all different now.
Listen, you guys will get my Disney adventures. I'm here.
I'm
in.
excited. I think you should do this.
And especially that I get to watch them for free $99. Hey,
That's my favorite number.
I'm with it.
My current obsession is something that we've brought up before, and it's kind of on theme. It's the best little whorehouse in Texas. I brought it up last time when we were talking about Dollywood, and you were saying you hadn't watched it. I actually went home that night and started listening to the soundtrack again, and I've been kind of listening to the soundtrack all week.
Okay.
And even the day that Burt Reynolds died, I posted on Facebook Dolly Parton singing "I Will Always Love You," and I put the caption "I will always love you, Burt." That was my honor. That was my tip of the hat to him.
Okay.
And "I Will Always Love You" is great. Dom DeLuise's song is very funny. The songs are very funny. Dom DeLuise sings a song that's just called "Texas Has a Whorehouse" in it.
Okay.
He's like a TV evangelist, so he's got like a chorus behind him. Charles Durning plays the governor of Texas, and he sings a song called "Sidestep," which is about how he doesn't answer questions by the journalists. Like, journalists will ask him a question, and he'll just say nothing. Like, they'll be like, "Sir, what do you think about the chicken ranch and all the prostitution?" And he's like, "My good friends, it behooves me to be solemn and declare I'm for goodness and for profit and for living clean and saying daily prayer." So he just doesn't say anything. He just says bullshit, and then he does his little dance. It's really funny.
I gotta watch this.
I think it's a great movie. Well, you know, you're not a musical guy, so
I'm
you
really
might.
not.
But I think these songs are very funny, and it's Burt. It's Burt and Dom and Dolly.
Does Burt sing?
Shit, I don't remember.
See, because he's too fucking cool to do that.
I don't know if he does sing. He's sung at quite a lot.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's based on a true story.
Because it's the best little whorehouse in Texas?
Yeah. But the real guy who Dom DeLuise is portraying has said that he feels it's not fair, because in the movie they make it like Dom DeLuise is very offended as a Christian by prostitution, where the real guy says it wasn't about that at all. It was about that the chicken ranch was tied to the mob, and that's why he wanted it closed.
So if the chicken ranch was just owned and operated under the guise of the women,
Yeah.
he'd be fine with it.
Yeah.
But since there was organized crime connection,
Right.
he's like, no.
And in the movie, there's no organized crime connection. There's a famous scene in the movie, which actually happened in real life, where the sheriff, played by Burt Reynolds, grabs Dom DeLuise's wig and like pulls it off of him on live TV. That actually happened with the real sheriff and the real guy.
Okay.
Yeah. And it was a Broadway musical, but then when they made it a movie, Dolly wrote a bunch of extra songs, and like directors came in and out. The director who's credited is Colin Higgins, but apparently directors were fired left and right, and they were rewriting things all the time. But I don't know, it's one of those movies where even though it was like a crazy production, it comes out very well.
So the plot, if I can follow along, is just this televangelist fighting the good fight to try to get the best little whorehouse in Texas closed, and then you get to see that it's not as bad as people perceive it to be.
No, he's the bad guy. That's the bad fight.
He's the bad guy.
Right. The lead character is Miss Mona, who's Dolly Parton. Miss Mona runs the best little whorehouse in Texas.
She's the madam.
Right, and she is in love and has had a long relationship with the sheriff, played by Burt Reynolds, and he kind of lets them operate. Everybody knows what the chicken ranch is, and everyone just sort of turns their cheek. But then this guy, Melvin P. Thorpe, played by Dom DeLuise, goes on TV and says this is a scandal, blah, 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 and puts a lot of pressure on stuff. And, you know, Burt Reynolds is in love with her, but he also wants to move on with his career, and he's afraid that, like, he can't defend her. She's got to close down. But it's funny. It's a very funny movie.
I got to check
I'm
this
obsessed
out.
with it. Yeah, I've been listening to it. You know what? If you're a musical person, unlike Emilio, you might even just like listen to the soundtrack and like get into the music.
I like music. Let's not. I'm a music
I know you like
guy.
music, but you don't like musicals. And I'm not a huge musical person either. Like, I don't like real musicals. Like when I went to see Into the Woods, where it's just the singing never stops. It's just like an opera. It just goes and goes. I hated it. I was so unhappy. I wanted to die. And everyone was like, it was so great. I like more like a movie musical where like there's a story and then we stop and we sing a song about the story and then we move on.
I can deal with like maybe 2 songs.
Well, do you have a musical that you'd say this is my favorite musical?
I've seen on Broadway Rocky.
How was that? How was the music in that?
It was cool.
Yeah, okay.
It was cool. I seen Mamma Mia.
Okay.
That was all right. I slept through most of that though. I was on a date and it was just I passed out.
Sounds great.
It was just whatever. Yeah.
My favorite movie musical, and maybe one of my favorite movies ever, is Rocky Horror Picture Show.
That's cool.
Because it's very subversive and different.
But again, I can tolerate that though because it like goes with that
Yeah.
that scheme. Like, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Grease, I could
Oh
tolerate.
yeah, Grease is great.
I'm gonna have to look at it the way I look at professional wrestling. I just have to
absolutely.
suspend my disbelief.
If you could watch that, I mean,
Now
you had no
that-
problem. Yeah.
is a genius idea.
What, a musical wrestling?
And they just
program?
break out one episode.
That's had to have
It
happened.
never happened in WWE.
Yeah, but somebody must have done something like that at some point. Has to have. You had no problem with the fact that the spirit of Moana's grandmother was guiding her magically. That was okay to you.
Yeah, it was fine.
It was the songs.
Those are the songs.
But you loved The Rock. You didn't like The Rock? I was really surprised by The Rock singing. Jeez, I think we did it.
Yeah. It's time to go. All right, so listen, if you want to rate, review, subscribe, comment, tell me, hey, let's watch some Disney together, I'm down. We could do a group thing. You can FaceTime me. I'll watch your Disney with you.
It's creepy.
So all you got to do is subscribe to this podcast via Spotify, via Stitcher, Apple Podcast, Google Play, whatever tickles your pickle, stream it. That's how we do it on here. You can follow us on Instagram at Pop Culture Man Children. You can follow me on Twitter at Emilio Sparks, EmilioSparks.
Thank you for listening. Let's go bye-bye.